Since Hurricane Beryl, emergency crews across the city say they are fielding more calls regarding carbon monoxide poisoning. Spring Fire Department Deputy Chief Landon Churchill and Alex Bregenzer are here to show us how you can keep you and your family safe. Good morning. Thank you both for coming in. This is a really important topic. No matter how many stories we do pre and during the storm, it seems like post-storm we're covering, sadly, tragedies pertaining to carbon monoxide. Talk to us about what people can do to ensure they're safe pre, during, post-storms.
Absolutely. I'll start a little bit. So one of the things we really saw was a ton of generator use. I don't have to tell anybody we had a lot of power issues during this last storm, and we can expect that in storms in the future. So a lot of people have invested in generators, either small ones, portable ones, or whole home generators. So if you're using a portable generator, one of the things you need to make sure is that you are using it with the manufacturer's recommendations. And what we recommend is about 20 feet away from your home. That's so that the carbon monoxide, which is a gas that you can't smell and you can't see, doesn't get into your home. And then you also want to make sure you're maintaining it, because if you don't maintain the air filter or the oil, or you allow it to get too hot, or you overload it, they can catch on fire. And we did see both of those things happening in the aftermath of this storm.
Yeah, one thing Houston does best, and that's coming together. Houstonians are always helping their neighbors out, and it was during this broadcast, a woman who had been without power for days, one of her neighbors stepped up and gave her a generator. But it was during this hour we saw where she put that generator, and it was in a mobile home, and there were fences separating the property lines. And we're talking about a space maybe only 2 to 3 feet wide, and she put it right there next to a window. And so our reporter out there on scene, we were able to tell her, hey, this is so great that she is back up on the grid temporarily, but you need to inform her on how to use this safely. And I think that's key, is letting and reminding folks know that these are great, but they need to be used a certain way.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that Alex, our risk reduction director, put together. Maybe you want to talk about that program.
Yeah, so while we were driving around doing damage assessments after the storm, we were looking specifically for people that were using generators, whether they be like, in the garage, near the garage, in an unsafe manner. And what we were doing is, hey, if we can help you get this in a place where it's, better for you, better using it safely, let's do that. We're also checking with folks if they had carbon monoxide detectors, because, like Chief said, it's an odorless, colorless gas. It can kill you.
You go to sleep and you don't wake up.
Exactly. So we were finding, hey, if you have a generator and you don't have one of these alarms, we're giving them out to people, so to make sure that they were safe at the end of the day.
That's really good to know. For people who have CO detectors, how often should they be checking them to make sure they're good to use?
At least once a year.
At least once a year. And that coincides with smoke detectors as well. There was an old rule, right? Every spring when I forget how it goes.
During the time change.
During the time change, there you go. So technically even maybe twice a year, right? That gives you an upper hand on situations like this. Talk to us about, people who have fixed generators, the big generators. Do they have to be as cognizant with those as these movable generators?
Yes. So they both will emit that carbon monoxide. So you need to make sure that you have a carbon monoxide CO detector in your house. With those whole home generators, right? If they are too close to the house, they can still put off that CO. It can get through the weep holes, it can get through windows, seals. So it may be there may be space to talk to a contractor that put them in to see if they can be moved, especially if it's posing a danger to your health.
Going back to this one homeowner that we were speaking to during the show, I think her reasoning for putting it where she put it was because she didn't want to put it in the driveway in the event somebody would take it. She just didn't have the room. But again, it's that trade-off of, maybe cooling the house down for a few minutes and then, I don't know, but you have to really figure that out. You have to make sure you're using these the correct way.
Yeah, and something that we're really encouraging folks to do is if you're living in the Spring Fire Department area and you don't know exactly what the best place is for it, give us a call. We'll come out and look at it and tell you where you might need to put it.
Oh, that's a really good tool.
Because what we found is a lot of people didn't know what they didn't know. And they thought they were doing it right, and they just weren't. They were missing a few pieces.
Okay, talk to us about some of the other things that you have with you.
Yes, so I'm gonna sneak in here. So one of the things, right, we've got our generator we want to make sure that we're prepared, not just on the electricity side, but holistically for the next event, right? So if you can, make sure everybody in the household at least has some sort of go bag. It can have a bunch of different stuff in it. Anything that you could need for the next couple of days, cans of food, water. We've got water bottle on here. Anything that you would need if you needed to leave your house, just to have it available. Right?
Being prepared.
Being prepared. So like keeping your medications on hand, keeping your documents in plastic bags, copies of them, so that if you need to leave your house because there's flooding or whatever, you have those readily available for you. And then having an extra set of clothes for the next couple of days. Paper towels, toilet paper,
always
that
come in
sort of
handy.
thing. Yeah.
Oftentimes these are things that we know. They're just good reminders to keep in the forefront of our brains in the event that something like this happens. I know also you brought with you some jugs to put fuel in, extension cords.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, so some of the stuff that we saw during this storm, to your point, we all know how to get ready for a storm. But what we saw is that a lot of folks kind of thought it wasn't going to be that big of a deal, and they're like, well, we'll get through it, and then it came and it was a little bit bigger of a deal than we thought, and so they didn't have everything they needed. And so you need to make sure you have long enough extension cords to get away from your house with your generators. You need to make sure that you have approved fuel containers. We had a handful of very severe injuries associated with people carrying and transporting fuels in things like buckets or or unsafe containers. Not having the medications that you need or the essential supplies to make it for 72 hours. So even though those are the same advice we give all the time, it's really important that we take the storm seriously.
People, if they have questions or concerns and they want to reach out to you, what types of ways do you suggest they do that, and what types of services do you offer in the event they're in need?
So for us, you can reach out to us via social media. We have a website. You can give us a call. Shoot us an email.
Stop by, say hello.
Stop by, say hello if you want to. We're at our administration building off of Louetta. Come talk to us about generator safety, about home safety. We're happy to help with that. We do smoke alarms, CO alarms. We teach CPR classes, first aid classes. We can do home safety surveys where we'll come and see, hey, is there something that you need to change, or can we help you live safer in your house? We do a whole host of things. We're not just when you call 911, you get a red fire truck coming out. We do a lot more than just that.
Yeah, Alex's whole division is called community risk reduction, and the goal there is just to make sure that someone's worst day never happens.
Yeah. And listen, there's never a stupid question. Maybe you're a first-time homeowner, right? And this is not your first storm, but it's your first storm going through it as a homeowner. So if you have any questions, you have any concerns, stop by your local fire department, say hello, introduce yourself, and get those questions, concerns addressed. Alex Slants, thank you so much for stopping by. We appreciate it.
Thank you.